Welcome to the meeting today. If you're able to, please feel free to turn your video on just so we can see you and say hello quickly. Feel free to unmute yourself to say hi.
Hello.
Hi, Bernie. How are you?
Hi. Fine. How y'all doing?
So far, so good.
Good. Good to see you guys.
Likewise.
Hey there, everybody.
Who was that? Oh, Randy. Good afternoon, Randy.
Good afternoon, Dale. Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
All right. Well, we're at a couple minutes past the hour. We have some.
Hey, it's Rob too.
Hey, Rob. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. How are you?
Great. Nice. Everything's fine, and I'm excited to hear about the August cohort.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to be able to share some of that today. And we have some folks on the line who are both different volunteers, alumni. So I think this is going to be a good discussion. There's just some people coming through the waiting room now, and we're going to get started here in just a sec. All right. So welcome everybody to this meeting of RVA Works. For those of you who don't know us, we are a public charity here in Virginia, and we're dedicated to helping more people become business owners. And, we actively work, and I was just talking with Rick about this, we actively work to cultivate community around entrepreneurship. And some of that includes getting volunteers involved. Some of that is about fundraising and getting people to assist us financially. And then others is just about people helping make connections because they say, hey, I know somebody who's starting a business and they should talk with RVA Works. So welcome to all of you for joining today. We have been starting out this series of conversations, which we began back in March, myself and Rick Grossberg. He and I began this series of conversations about different topics as they relate to small business owners. And so typically on Thursdays at noon, we get anywhere from 10 or 12 people all the way up to 30 people, depending on the topic and the interest level for that particular topic. So I'm going to make sure, as I always do, to put my email address in the chat window. And if you have any questions about RVA Works, you can certainly get in touch with me. This particular week is an RVA Works specific topic, which is our August cohort that's coming up. I believe everyone here would have seen that we are currently accepting applications, the deadline for which is August the 20th. But before we delve into that specifically, we're going to take some time to just cover this structure that Rick and I have established. I will go through some context in terms of what's happening in the economy, in the markets, what that means for small businesses. And so that will serve as our context for our discussion in relation to our programming. So at that point, I'm going to turn it over to Rick. He's going to cover some of his perspectives in terms of what he's seeing from his perspective, and then we will go much more specifically into the program itself. So with that being said, I'm going to just jump right into it. So when we look at the economy overall, we had that large second quarter contraction through June 31st. So we experienced a 32.9% annualized contraction during that 3-month period. And essentially, I don't think it's any kind of news to anyone, or I don't think it's been much of a secret at all that was primarily related to COVID-19. And of course, that closely related to that is the degree of social unrest and protest that we've seen across the country. And we've also seen specifically and locally in Richmond. So So the unemployment rate in February, just to set this into context a bit, the February unemployment rate was about 3.8%, and at its high reached 14.4% in April. As of the end of July, it's gone down to about 10.2%. So it's still bad, but not nearly as bad as it was a few weeks ago. When we look at the market overall, I think it's, and Rick and I have been talking about this quite a bit, that Main Street is currently what's happening, right? Main Street and what all of us are doing is really focused on the now, whereas a lot of what we see in the equities markets is more focused on the future. So when we see the headlines in CNBC and Yahoo Finance and Bloomberg and Forbes, a lot of those perspectives are forward-looking. So just to put that in perspective, in Q1, so that was January, February, March, the S&P lost about 20% of its value. So there was a huge contraction, that mid-March trough in equities in the U.S. In the second quarter, regained almost all of that, right? Almost all of that was regained in the second quarter, primarily because of over $2 trillion in stimulus from the federal government, as well as the Fed overnight rate and a commitment to maintaining an overnight rate at right around 0%. So as we think about what's going to happen, the markets are indicating a fairly positive outlook in the U.S. And essentially anticipating that a vaccine will exist and that more stimulus will be provided if needed. The other thing to kind of keep in mind is that as small business owners, as most of us are, or we work with people who are, so there's a lot of uncertainty around reopening, and there's a lot of uncertainty around establishing trust that one can meet with someone else. You know, if I want to sit down with someone, how do I convince you that I'm healthy and not a risk? What will this mean in terms of long-term changes in consumer behavior? And probably not as reported have been some of the supply chain disruptions and the difficulties procuring certain materials as a result of COVID-19. So with all that being said, there's obviously weakness, and we've been talking about this previously, in hospitality, entertainment, transportation. That all of those have presented weaknesses that have affected different small business owners in different ways, particularly those who provide services or contract in those sectors. And we've also seen a great deal of pressure for commercial real estate. We've also, seen, I think, some strength and some indications of optimism around products and technology about working from home. Also, construction has been fairly strong, as has healthcare. So we've seen a little bit of a rebound for at-home, non-essential healthcare. At one point, that essentially had ground to a halt. We've seen that coming back. And one kind of indication point that I would raise was a CNBC poll, where now 64% of small business owners are confident that they could stay in business over the next year, given the current circumstances. And that's almost double what it was back in April. In April, that poll was only at about 34%. So small business owners have essentially been benefiting from some local support, as well as utilizing technology that's been able to do more work from home, and has provided some opportunity for pivots to other revenue opportunities. So that's kind of the context. I'm going to wait to get into the specifics about RVA Works, and just kind of curious, Rick, from your perspective, what are you seeing in terms of the economy and what it means for small business?
Yeah, thanks, Dale. I, as everybody knows, will have attended this weekly meeting. I've been involved mostly with very small startups, a lot of startups. And startups are kind of a special classification. The startup market is moving, but it's slow. And a couple of anecdotal stories. That there was an article this morning about startups in England, and they're seeing actually a resurgence going on in England. There's more conversation going on now in England than there was a year ago, which is a good sign. Of course, England's has a different situation in terms of how it's been impacted by the pandemic. The more interesting story maybe is personal anecdotal story, which is that I'm involved in coaching a business up in Charlottesville, and it's not a medical device. It's not really classified as a medical device. It's an assistive device. It's a knee brace, and it's very interesting. And I've become engaged with understanding the market. And normally, my as a prospective investment, my next step in doing the due diligence process would be to hop in a car and drive up there and meet with the people and look at the facilities, have an opportunity to ask lots of important questions. And they've invited me and they've encouraged me, but I can't go because I've looked at, they've given me a virtual tour with FaceTime. And, you know, it's like they've got about 10 people and everybody is maskless because they're all, you know, in the 24 to late 20, early 30s range. There's a high level of comfort with not protecting themselves and others. And I don't feel comfortable going. And so as a prospective investment, for me, it's not a prospective investment. And given the fact that there are in my group, there are people who are interested in doing that, I think we're all kind of stuck. You know, if it's a conversation about people who have the capacity to invest, but they really need to visit, shake hands, and look at, they're stuck. So that's kind of a very short summary about, you know, based on a little bit of reading and mostly personal experience.
Right. Well, yeah, thank you for that, Rick. I think a lot of people can relate to that with, you know, the difficulties that we've seen around risk just in being face to face with someone else. So I think a lot of us can relate to that for sure. And with that said, what I wanted to do is to migrate over a little bit to RVA Works, to our programming specifically, and to make sure that we cover the questions that are on people's minds. So what I'm going to do is to now hit the pause button for a second. Rick and I spoke about this in advance. We're going to hit the pause button for a second. We're going to allow a little time here, and we're going to ask you to just type in to your chat window. If you don't see it yet, if you at the bottom of your screen, there's a little icon that says chat, and it'll pull up a little window, and you can type in there a question for us in relation to the program. And so I can tell you that we have a couple. We have, let's see, 3 different volunteers who have facilitated discussions directly in the classroom, and we have 2, and we have 2 alumni on the call as well. So we're going to be able to answer any questions that anyone has in relation to the program. Feel free now to go ahead and type in your question, please. We want to make sure that we get to them.
The questions can include, you have no questions, but you're interested in talking about such and such, or hearing about such and such. Or you would like to ask about things that we may have conversations about in the future. I mean, one of the things we try to do is we try to do sometimes a little bit of research based on somebody has an interest in a particular item. We'll do the research and be prepared to have a conversation about it. So we're trying to establish a more open, sort of 2-way interaction with folks in the forum. And I've got my little chat box open, and I think everybody is waiting and thinking about what questions they want to ask, because I expect the screen is going to fill up just completely in about 3 minutes. Good question from Mary.
Great, thank you, Sambo. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, Randy, we're definitely, I'm in the process of trying to learn more about the legal, and we'll talk about this, but with the limitations on revenue sharing.
Thank you, Anna. We'll definitely get to your question for sure. All right, Michael, we'll cover that. All right, so I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview of RVA Works, and then we're also going to cover these questions. I imagine as I'm speaking, other questions will come to mind. Feel free to get them into the chat window. Rick and I sort of pride ourselves on the ability to handle the different questions that come up. And as I said, we have alumni and volunteers on the line with us. So just to jump into this topic, and as I mentioned at the outset, RVA Works is a public charity in Virginia which is dedicated to helping more people become business owners. So we have a few different ways that we do that. One is education. So we provide this cohort-based education specifically that we're talking about now. We also have a program called 1 Million Cups, which is a national program of the Kauffman Foundation, which we lead here in the Richmond market, which is about entrepreneurs learning from one another and connecting to one another, building community with one another. The second area is about research. So we're currently initiating 2 different research projects, both of which are related to entrepreneurship and small business development. The third is in the area of technology. So we currently have some technology that's also under development to support the small business owner online. And then the last area that we are getting involved with is the area of capital access. So that's a broad and kind of wide-ranging area. It's a wide-ranging group of services that we already have in play, that we have offered for small business owners, some of which is under development. But we're going to focus in specifically on the education area. And so around that, I think it's important to say that we initiated this program back in 2014. We've now had 112 people enter the program. Roughly 3/4 of the people who have entered the program have completed it. And we're generally looking for people who have a business concept. That concept is relatively feasible, and that individual is in a set of life circumstances where they can undertake a course of study over a 12-week period, 3 hours on a Monday evening, and they're able to commit to that time and to be able, and are very serious about launching. So we don't go through case studies. We're not about just exercises for the sake of learning the skill. People learn their skill as they're launching their business. The next part to talk about are referrals. So we make an awful lot of referrals for people who have needs in particular areas. That could be insurance, accounting, it could be in legal services, it could be to partner with someone who's another small business owner or potentially an alumnus of the program. We also assist people in terms of promoting their business. So we've had different events, and we're going to increasingly be doing some online promotions for our alumni as they grow their business, as they expand their sales. We also have an alumni forum that meets actively monthly, and that's been taking place over the last 3 years, and that's a great way for alumni essentially to come together to have what end up being fairly personal conversations, relationships about anything from life to family to health to business to challenges they're up against, and to get input and specifically to different business challenges. We've also had a series of different special events that come up as particular topics relevant for alumni. We're going to be partnering to a larger extent with the University of Richmond, providing an undergraduate experiential learning program for you, our undergrad students, to work with RVA Works alumni. So when people are alumni of our program, there are additional benefits that go along with that. And I would also mention some of the pro bono services that people are able to avail of. And so we partner for logo design and also for pro bono legal services. So just to kind of set the context a bit, the next cohort will start August the 31st. It's a 12-week program. So we're not going to meet on Labor Day, but we'll be meeting on Mondays from 6 till 9. It's going to be all conducted on Zoom. And there is a cost for the course. It's $475, but there also is scholarships based on need. Someone needs to provide evidence of the prior year's adjusted gross income, and many different people, actually the majority of people, have received some sort of needs-based scholarship. And we're now really excited about some of the enhancements that we're making to the curriculum, which will go above and beyond what we've done previously. And so Gopa Nair, who's with us on the line, has been leading some of that work in terms of our initiative improvements as well. So, so with that, I know the questions are coming in. The comments I just made are likely to raise more questions. And Gopa, how about if I turn it over to you to just talk for a little bit about some of the changes that we've been making? It's pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah, thank you, Dale. Happy to explain what changes we are making. So the first and foremost thing what we want to do is idea validation. Especially when entrepreneurs come, they feel that they have a great idea, but we want to provide a platform and an opportunity for them to validate and test that idea in market through some tools and processes. I think that is what this cohort makes it much more exciting, because now it is not something people just think, but it is vetted through the process of real market testing. So I think that is the big, I would say, the icing which we are bringing to the original curriculum, where right now even an entrepreneur has an idea, but we take them through a process, through a few weeks where they would be able to get some real test and feel. They'll also be able to vet some assumptions which they're making. And many times they make assumptions. I think that's how any entrepreneur, any business is built. So this gives an opportunity for them to vet those assumptions, again, through proven tools, which has been used worldwide. So I think those are some of the good additions. And then once they feel that, yeah, this is going to be a viable business, then we get into the formation, the legal structure, the other professional needs of that business. So I think I would say our program is divided into two parts. One is, the first part is really figuring out, is it a feasible business, figuring out whether the idea is going to be a feasible business. And if it is a feasible business, let's make it happen. So we are not using Vivo. We are partnering with Kaufman. Plus, I think we had a great intern who has searched the World Wide Web. I think I should say that way, World Wide Web, to bringing the best resources available. So we have compiled and collated resources across streams so that we can provide a very tailored and custom-made program. I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you, Gopa. Yeah, I think the best way to think about the curriculum, and to answer the most recent question there from Mary, no, we are not using Weibo anymore. We've essentially gone through and structured 12 weeks. The first 6 weeks focused on market testing and validation of the product or service offering, and then moving from customer discovery and initiating sales discussions. And then the second 6 weeks really being focused on formalization, registration, budgeting, break even, and launching. So let's see if we can kind of get through some of the questions that are coming in. And I see plenty of them now, which is great. I think just kind of going through the list, Rick, did you have a preference in terms of how you want to cover the questions?
No, I just think we could probably just go right on down the list, starting at the top.
Okay. Yeah, so on revenue share agreements, Randy, I think we're going to have a follow-up discussion about that on a subsequent week, just to kind of put some finer points on that for people who are interested more on the investment opportunities related to revenue share agreements. So we're not going to delve too far into the details on that one today, but I do think it's worth providing a little bit more education around revenue share agreements and that opportunity for raising capital, and specifically for people who are revenue positive, who are already making sales. The next question is about, are there any programs to encourage teens to run their home-based businesses? So certainly teens, high school students are eligible to apply to RVA Works. And I'm always enthused by people who are younger and who are already thinking about starting a business. So Mary, if you know of someone who's in that category, by all means, please encourage them to apply if they'd like to do so. It is an adult evening education program. So, as you know, Mary, from your experience, this is a very serious, study of small business topics and then launching, right? So it's a very practical and pragmatic perspective as well. Let's see. And Mary, since we just covered your question, would you mind sharing with folks your experience of the class?
Hi, Mary, can you hear me?
There you go. We can just barely hear you. Are you able to raise the volume a bit?
I think it's because I have you on Bluetooth speaker. Hold on for just 1 second.
Okay, go ahead, Mary. We'll listen closely. Go ahead. If you can just speak up a bit, we'll catch it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think that it's a wonderful opportunity to be a part of RVA Works. And I will say that, I've been through a lot of business programs, but I think that the cohort feedback was perhaps the most valuable part of it, because, you have concepts and ideas and everything. You get be on a platform where you can have open discussion as well as learning business techniques that you may not already have.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, that's certainly something that we are big believers in, that entrepreneurs are the best ones able to support one another. And it's great to go through a particular area of expert knowledge, but it's also really helpful to learn from someone's peers who are also starting up businesses. Mary, I didn't want to interrupt you there. Was there anything else you wanted to share for everyone?
No, I've had too much coffee, so I could probably talk for the next hour and a half, so I'll defer.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Let's see. The next question is from Sambo. So Sambo, you were asking, the new cohort is 12 weeks and online. Can you share a bit more how that will happen? Well, we sure can. So we are going to be utilizing the Kaufman Fast Track platform. So participants will have unlimited access to all the Kaufman resources, including articles, videos, blog posts, discussion forums. In addition to that, we will be meeting, Gopa and myself, along with other speakers and guests, will also be able to join in. And so all of that will be happening on Monday evenings, utilizing this platform on Zoom. So everyone here is obviously familiar with and able to get online and to utilize this platform. By the way, we are not abandoning in-person, in-classroom training, but in the current context, this is the format that makes the most sense for everyone. And it's actually nice that we can offer this to people who don't necessarily live in the Richmond metro area. Let's see, the next one is from Anna. Is the cohort program designed to support a service-based business? So the answer is emphatically yes, it is. Anna, do you mind just telling us a little bit about the concept or about the business that you already have running, and then we can talk to it more directly?
Sure. Thanks for the information today. I don't have a business yet, but for a few years I've been conceptualizing launching a coaching and counseling private practice.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking for support. I've worked within higher ed for 15 years. And so I've always had that very structured environment, but been very curious about doing it on my own. And so I'm just looking for more support there. I've reached out to other resources, and they've been much more focused on product-based businesses. So that's where the question was coming from.
Right. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Sure. So Rick, do you want to just kind of speak to that for a sec?
Yeah, again, we are, as I say, agnostic. If you have an idea, whether it's a product or a service, we sort of, our approach is to recognize that pretty much if you're in business, you need customers, you need to have an offering, a value creation offering, you need to have a method of delivering it, you need to have a way of understanding about how it is that it's called the work necessary to do the work. How are you going to run your business? And so we try to stay in those zones which are applicable to any business. And so if it's a service business, you're going to have the same sort of challenges, planning issues, and opportunities to learn from others as a product business would have. Does that make sense?
That does. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you, Anna. And feel free to drop me a note if you want. I put my email at the top of the chat window there, and happy to follow up with you just in relation to the application process. All right, the next question came from Michael. Michael, this is in relation to an EIDL application that you provided. And I know, Michael, you've been attending with us regularly here. So as far as the specifics of the SBA emergency funding opportunities, I'm happy to talk through the details on that one, but we did want to focus our conversation today pretty specifically around the RVA Works educational program. Did you have any questions in relation to the program?
Yes, I do. So what I did, and when you asked for the question, I came on late and I didn't know the format that you were expecting. So before that, we'll have a sidebar later on in the week or next week about that with you. I'll email you. I put in another question in regards to the cohort, and it's at the end, I think. And
okay. I'm going down to it now. I want to take a course to educate me in relaunching my probate. Okay, so probate business for a court system back up. Okay, service 7 states from Maryland to Florida. Awesome. And you're doing it now, but you want to improve, right? Okay. And you're ready to start when and where. Okay, so Michael, have you gone into the website and filled out an application?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so on rvaworks.org, there is a button to apply. You can go in there pretty easily. It's a short form. It's not particularly complicated. That will get you into the system, and then from that point, I'm going to be in touch with everyone who applies. We're setting up interviews for the week of the 24th. So August the 20th is the deadline on applications.
All right. So then you said that what I would do is to go into RVAworks.org.
Right.
And then I can fill out the application.
Right.
And someone will get back to me.
I will. Yeah, I will myself. Yep.
And that's what day you going to do that?
So the deadline is on the 20th, and so once we have the deadline, then we're going to start scheduling interviews, and so we're going to be interviewing over the course of the week of the 24th. Everything will be on Zoom, so you won't need to leave your home.
All right. Do I need to go ahead and do have my my company outline about what I do and how I do it? I have a web page set up. Do I need to send anything so that way when you interview me, you have at least an idea of what I do?
Yeah. Yep. So there's a question in there, Michael, which is pretty straightforward, just about the type of business that you're starting, and any information that you're able to provide by all means, fill in as much detail as you can. And then we always walk through the process, and we walk through the concept, rather. We walk through the concept when we're in the interview.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work. I'll get on that before the end of the week.
Okay, sounds great, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Katie, we had your question next. You're interested in hearing more about the program, the structure, and in particular, what people thought was the most valuable part. So we have a couple of other alumni on the line that we haven't heard from. Bernie, why don't we ask you, what did you find most valuable about RVA Works, the classes, and then after you were done the classes?
Hello, everyone. When I first came to the class, I was on the shy side, and I really did. There I am.
There you are.
So they helped me out as far as all the techniques. I didn't know a lot of things about the taxes. I didn't know I didn't know much about business at all. And through the class, they taught me how to price my stuff, and also not to be ashamed of the prices, and just do what I need to do. Because at first, when I started pricing things, I felt like they were too high and all this kind of stuff. But they also said that you got to be able to make money, so you got to do what is right for your business. So I had to say to myself that, some people are going to be able to afford the prices, some people are not. So what I do have is going to be for those people that can afford it. And first of all, let me tell you my business. My name is Bernie Richardson, as of course, and I am a baker. My name of my business is Bernie's Baked Goods. I do wedding cake, birthday cake, pastry pies, and cookies, basically all of it. So they really did help me to get more involved in my pricing. And also about taxes. They taught me about taxes. They taught me about marketing, and also how to, basically talk to people. So by being in a class, they got you up a lot of time, and you end up talking to people and letting them know about your business, and you got a chance to ask questions, and we all just helped each other out. If we didn't know something, somebody in the other class would help that other person. So it was really worth going to. So I just thank God that I went on ahead and went through the class, and I'm still in business. And because of the COVID, things have slowed down. But I did have 2 other businesses that ordered from me, and I'm still doing my stuff. People still order, and I just thank God I was in the class. I advise everybody to get into it. If you don't know anything, I think it would really help you and encourage you, even for the ones that don't have a business yet. I think you end up finding one. Just keep listening and keep going to the classes and stuff. So it's awesome.
Thank you.
God bless you guys.
That's great. Thank you.
How do we order her baked goods?
Pardon me?
How do we get your baked goods? Sell it to us.
Just by ordering. You get them online. You can call my phone. Just most people text me, and then I go ahead and they call me, and they place the orders, and then they meet me.
Yeah,
I work out of my home.
I don't know you.
Yeah, Bernie, do you mind putting your phone number into the chat window so Michael and anyone else can get in touch with you?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
No problem at all.
All right. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Okay. Katie, were there other questions that I saw that there was sort of a few different questions in there, Katie. I just want to make sure that we covered anything that was on your mind.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Hi.
I recently started my design business, and I didn't know if this would be a beneficial thing for me to continue my education. I feel like I learn something new every day with this new world.
Yeah. I suppose so if you go onto our website, it does provide some information in terms of the structure of the program, but just to give you the kind of overview of it, and we've just made some changes as Gopa was talking about. And so it's really focused on identifying or clarifying the concept, identifying the customer segments, connecting with those customer segments. As one does that, being prepared to have sales-focused discussions, and then reaching a point about midway through the course to say, are people buying this, or do I need to change the concept? And then from that point forward, the second half of the course is really about formalizing the structure, whether that's through registration with Virginia. It sounds like you've already done those things, but then it gets into things like your break-even analysis, budgeting, pricing, working with different bankers, attorneys, accountants to clarify these are the specific things which I need to have in place to make sure operationally that I, have things set up correctly, I guess. So the answer is that yes, this is relevant for people who are looking to enhance a business. If you already have customers, I know oftentimes people find benefit and find new opportunities as they look at their business model, sometimes with some new perspectives.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Alan, we just covered one of your favorite topics, which is about pricing. Can you talk a little bit about profit planning?
Yeah. I'm Alan Griffin, saving with solar, saving energy, saving the planet, saving with solar. Before I do that, I always wanted to tell people that whole little spill I just did started out as solar question mark. I had no idea what I wanted to do. When I first came in, I received one of those scholarships that made me pay a lot less. And I'm happy to say that I've got my EIDL loan. I've got a few other grants and stuff. This program helped me do that. This is what the RVA Works does. They are not only just it's not only just a program to help you start a business, it also helps you maintain and create a business. I am right now helping another alumni get their EIDL loan. So it's just it's really how this program rolls. I'm not only helping myself, I'm also helping others. So when we talk about your profit plan and how to make a profit, it all starts out with your break-even analysis. And from there, it's the research that you've done throughout the 12 weeks of the course, because you get to talk to your competitors. You get to talk to people who are in the same business. So you get to understand what prices they're charging, figure out what you want to charge, and figure out if you have a competitive advantage over them. And that's all explained and all going, and it's all part of our program. And it's a continuous process where just last week I redid one of my solar projects to make a little bit more money for me. And in a specific case, I was able to send that to my customers so that they could save money also.
Alan, thank you for all that. You're a little bit difficult to hear. It's a little bit staticky with your mic, just so that you're aware. And I just wanted to shift over to Kevin. So Kevin Williams is with us as well, also an alumnus of RVA Works. Kevin, welcome.
Yeah, I'm driving on the road. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Be safe. Be safe, man.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Loud and clear? Yeah, I've been working hard, you know. With the program.
Oh, Kevin. Kevin, sorry, you're coming through a little bit distorted there. When you're in a good cell phone spot, we're going to come back to you. We can see you, but it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to hear you, Kevin. We're gonna come back to you here in a sec.
It's like it's like a teach you how to like run your business. RVA Works, huh? Can you? Hello?
All right, Kevin. Yeah, we just had to put you on mute there for a second. We're just having some difficulty with the audio there. When you're in a good cell phone spot, maybe we'll be able to pull you back in. It was really distorted. We couldn't quite hear you. So let's kind of shift gears here for a second. I wanted to make sure that if anyone has not yet had a chance to ask a question, that they do get a chance to ask a question. And I did see one come through from Charles. So Charles, did you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Oh, I was just, I was really interested. Thanks everyone for sharing. Just learning, not sure what's going on with my video. Can you see me?
We cannot.
Yeah, something's wrong with the video. But anyways, yeah, thanks, Alan, for sharing. Learning more about the actual program itself. I've known, and I just haven't really learned a lot about the content. And I was just asking, this is great. I'd love to be able to share it with some of the folks that I met last weekend, in fact, and some of the organizations involved with the SEA, because we do have some members that seem like they'd be a good fit for the program. Yeah, so I was just interested if you would maybe share some links afterwards and everything, and help me, any onboarding information, I guess, that I could share, pass along, and even consider myself.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to put up in the chat window the link to the application form. I think might be helpful for you, Charles, and for other folks. And can you talk a little bit then about some of the folks that you met and how the program might be relevant for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did a training last weekend. I am now a forensic peer support specialist. And so we're kind of helping folks that are coming out of incarceration and have mental health issues or issues with drug abuse and those kind of issues. Often when they come out of prison, there is, there are a number of challenges that they face. And so we sort of work with them. We're basically peers, and we sort of support them going through, helping them go through get connected to various programs, get housing and various things that they need that they're not really familiar with anymore, right? And so there's a lot of money coming in for these kinds of peer support programs. It is a new approach that has been gaining some real creating some opportunities, and there's some great programs that are bringing people into it. So there's literally a business for the peer support specialists, and how do we sort of work and to build a business around with our other peer supporters, right? So that's the idea that we were sort of exploring over the weekend, and this program sounds like a great way for us to come in and just sort of dot some I's and cross some T's.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great, Charles. Yeah, we've already received an application from someone who, had a bit of difficulty in terms of, they're now returning. They're now a returning citizen, right? So we have had an application from someone, and we're hoping that we can help in terms of, number one, not marginalizing, and number two, providing a pathway which will provide a good livelihood and a way for that person to best support themselves and their family. Kevin, we're going to come back to you and see if you're in a good spot. We're going to try this again. You were breaking up pretty bad the last time, so let me try to unmute you now, and just want to hear a little bit of your experience of RVA Works.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. I was driving down the road.
Okay.
RVA Works is like I said, it's like it teaches you how to like run your career, and what you like to do. I'm an entrepreneur. I deal in one specific areas, and that's automobiles. And you know, I just try to learn every aspect of it. And the things RVA Works had taught me was like, you know, paying taxes, learning the different responsibilities of running your business, things of that such nature. So, you know, I've always stayed abreast on new programs that can help me. And this is a program that helped me in the past. And I continue to study with the program. So it's like with your business, you know. So as long as you continue to stay up with all of the, you know, fundamental things of running your business, you'll be able to stay in business and, you know, do the things you have to do to, you know, see your business succeed, you know. And another thing about success, your success is measured about how much you put in. So if you're not focused and you're not driven, your business is not gonna perform the correct way, you know. So, but RVA Works is a platform that can move your company to a different level and put you in a more different spotlight far as what type of business you want to create and where you want to take your business, you know. So the sky is the limit. It's just a matter of how far you all are willing to take it.
Yeah.
What's up, Rick? Can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, yes.
How are you?
Okay, we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah, man. I'm in the field 24/7. What's up, Alan? I'm in the field 24/7.
That's right. Yeah.
We should catch up.
I'll tell you.
We are.
Yeah,
I've been linking with Dale. We've been hanging a little bit through the pandemic, just a little bit.
That's right. That's right. Actually, I'm going to just share with everybody that I just recently got a vehicle from Kevin. So happy to support his business. And yeah, a vehicle is looking good and running smoothly. Everything's going really well with that.
Is it running?
It's running very well. I got yeah. It's a great. It was a great value, and really happy to have it. Gets me where I need to go, all the way to Florida and up to New Jersey. So I'm going to jump in with this question from Anna. Anna was asking about, is there a requirement to complete work outside of the classroom? And so the answer to that is yes. There are assignments, but those assignments, and this is an important point, those assignments are about people working on their business. So it's not exercises, case studies. It's really about pushing along with your business and saying, okay, if this is new material I received, now how do I apply that to my business? So we're very intentional about that. Gopa, did you want to speak to that a little bit as well, about some of the assignments that are given for people outside of the classroom?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that this is not an assignment for grading. It is an assignment for your business to grow. And the reason is that these assignments are practical guidances which you will get. For example, how do I talk to a customer? How do I find what the problem is for a customer? So those are, and we do a role play, for example, before in the class, and then we say next week you make 5 calls to minimum 5 to 10 calls with your customers. So that is the type of assignment we are talking about. So it is, we want to make sure it is so relevant and useful for your business. You're not writing an exam or you're not getting a degree. You are actually creating a business. So that is a difference in how we see these assignments. So it is important also to do the assignment, because that is what keep your business going.
Awesome. Thank you, Gopa. Anna, just kind of checking back in with you. Did we cover all the questions that you had?
I think so. That last question was just trying to get a sense of, what is the weekly time commitment overall? I certainly understand there would be application of the concepts covered to, kind of putting that in process. So I think that was helpful. I guess the only piece that I'm still unclear on is, are there like textbooks? Is there reading, things like that? Or is it more taking what we cover in the Monday lecture and then applying it to our concept or to our existing business.
Yeah, let me cover that one, and then I'm going to go back to Bernie because I know she wants to share something with you as well.
It was about that.
Yeah, hold on one sec, Bernie. So Anna, so we've just recently changed the curriculum. We're utilizing the fast track material as the core, and then Gopa and I have also been working over the course of the summer along with Maggie Cox, who has been doing a really fine job, and we've been pulling together different information which will essentially enhance what Fast Track already has, which is a very strong base of business development material. And so we're adding in some other readings and videos, but we are making all of it available, and there will be a lot of optional reading. There will be much less sort of mandatory reading, if you like. We do want people to come into class prepared so they understand what we're going to be talking about. But the assignments are really about advancing the business. Bernie, go ahead.
I was just going to say about the business when we were about the textbooks that we did have to do answer the questions in the textbooks, and then from the textbooks we can meet back together and we answer the questions. And even though you might not be sure about the questions or whatever, they would always help you and define what the question really meant and all that good stuff. And it was just a blessing. And also, I just want to also say, after we get out of the alumni, we also have a meeting on Thursday, the 1st of every month, and we get together and we meet with our alumni, the people that wants to be sincere about their business also. But anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Bernie. Awesome. So, Rick, any other reflections, just as we come to the top of the hour, any other reflections then on your experience teaching in RVA Works?
No, it's a great opportunity. My area that I happen to spend time on when I teach is on pricing, how to price your product. And it's not that complex, but it's interesting to understand how people think about and understand about the pricing of their product or service, because there are a variety of ways of approaching it. And I think that, coming to understand how to do that obviously is key in building a profitably a successful and profitable business. So I commend Dale for his efforts in bringing this sort of educational process to small business, because small business really needs this sort of thing, and it works well into people's schedules.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, I'm just typing in here to the window, and Kevin, if you hear me there, Michael is looking to get in touch with you. I think, Kevin, if you can put your number into the chat window there, Michael will be able to reach out to you offline in relation to a vehicle he has. Okay, so with that being said, we're up to 1 o'clock. We really try to keep these meetings to an hour. So again, this is a program of RVA Works. We're a public charity here in Virginia. If you have any questions, comments, you'd like to understand more about what we're doing, feel free to drop me a line. I'm going to put my email in the window. Generally speaking, I'm able to contact most of the people on here. And with that, we will leave it there. I'm going to hang around for a little bit longer in case folks have any questions. And that concludes this meeting. Thanks so much, everyone.
You said somebody need a car?
Yeah, Michael was asking. Michael had a question on here. There he is. Go ahead, Michael. Kevin's on the line.
No, I don't need a car. I just bought a hybrid.
Okay.
A Prius, and I didn't know whether or not you sold them or do you service them.
I pretty much just sell them, man. Everything I do is just for me. I don't do a lot of public service.
Okay, I got you. So, but I mean, if I need a new car,
yeah, you could definitely ask Dale. Dale just went to Florida and all the way to the top of Jersey. Flying.
Way to go, Dale.
True that.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, I was rolling pretty smooth there, thanks to Kev.
There you go.
What's up, Rob? Rob Martin.
What's up, Kev?
How are you, man?
How you doing?
All right. You doing
Oh,
all
hey,
right?
Rob. Hey, Rob. What's on?
You been doing all right?
Yeah, all good. And it's
All right.
nice to be on here.
Okay.
Looking forward to supporting the next cohort.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
That's great.
What venture are you working on?
You already know, buy one, sell one. Buy one, sell one. as many as I can. But it's been good. I've been giving to the homeless people too. I've been learning a lot.
We need more people like you, man.
It's gonna happen, man.
That's for sure. Yeah,
We already got a team, huh?
Yeah, we're getting Kev onto a podcast called FOSO One. Yeah, these guys want to hear what Kevin has to say. So yeah, we gotta get that. We gotta get that set up, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is a good village to be a part of. We can do it together.
Yeah, definitely. We've been rocking a long time now. This is not months. This is years now.
Yep.
No.
It's a we thing, not a me thing.
Yeah, it's a we thing. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, definitely.
We talk a lot about being in the solution, not the problem. We can keep recapitulating the problem, but we need to be in the solution to stay positive.
Yeah.
Enough problems, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, I'm going to close out the meeting then.
All right. See you later, B.
Okay, everybody. Hey, thanks again, everyone, for your time.
Yeah.
All right.
Good meeting. Let's follow up back together again soon.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
Blessings.